everybody, my name is Adele and welcome to my channel Sew for Serenity, where I talk to you about my sewing journey. Talk to you about my love for fabrics, patterns, dressmaking. We have general sewing and live chit chat. So if that sounds of interest to you, please keep on watching. Welcome back to all my regular viewers, and if you're new here, I hope you enjoy this vlog and consider subscribing. So welcome to my New Year's resolution / sewing goals vlog for 2023. Now, I know a lot of people have said they don't like to make New Year's resolutions because they don't stick to them. And I agree with that. However, whatever you want to call them, whether they're sewing goals, New Year's resolutions, things you want to do differently, you know, they're all the same. It's much of a muchness. So yeah, I was really keen over particularly the last couple of months, I've been really thinking about you know, my sewing journey really. I have been sewing for just over a year, clothes really, from I think it was October 2021 I started sewing clothes, and yeah, I've learned a lot, learned absolutely loads of stuff over the last year, and because of that I have some New Year's resolutions / sewing goals that I want to adhere to, and there's 5 of them. And they're not going to be any kind of revelations for things that you haven't heard before. They're going to be things that, you know, everybody's said, I've probably said before, but I am really keen to stick to them this year or achieve my goals this year, because I know that I think I can do it now, whereas before I'm not sure I could. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about my sewing goals. So number 1 sewing goal is to keep my sewing space organised and tidy. Now, I don't know about you, but it's a very messy hobby, isn't it? Sewing, or it can be a very messy hobby. You know, I'll be mid-project, there'll be thread on the floor, bits of fabric on the floor from trimming seams, pattern pieces, pins, you name it, all over the place. There'll be patterns that I've printed off for other projects, etc. And then one of the baby will cry, or I have to go and answer the doorbell, or, you know, something will come up, or I'm just tired and I want to go to bed, and I just, to be fair, because my sewing room is my conservatory, I just shut the door on it and leave it. And that's fine because this is my space. It's not impacting anybody else like it was when I was sewing in the bedroom, but because of that it's made me lazy. And what I find is when my sewing room gets into a really bad state, it puts me off sewing. I find that I do believe in the mantra, you know, a person's surroundings reflects them, like their mental space. And what I find is when my surroundings are chaotic, quite often my headspace is quite chaotic, and I'm not sure which one comes first, to be honest with you. So obviously I'm a massive advocate of mental health, and making sure you do things to support your mental health. Having been a sufferer of really bad anxiety in the past, I know how important it is to keep your mental health in check. So that is what I've promised myself this year, that I will aim to strive to keep my sewing space serene, really, as it can be. So I'm under no illusions that, you know, it is a working space, so it is going to have stuff out and about. But I do really want to just be a bit more conscious when I'm sewing, and I have already made some inroads to that. So I have been trying to pack away at the end, leaving 10 or 15 minutes at the end of my sewing time to tidy up, tidy things away. One of the things I really want to do is free up one of these drawers here, because they're all full at the moment, to have as my working, I don't want to say work in progress, not working drawer, which will be where I can just grab everything that I'm in progress of making and pop into the drawer and then pick it back up again. So that's what I'm really keen to do. Other things is, you know, at the end of the day, pick all the pins up off the floor, have a hoover around. I've got a little handheld hoover now where I can hoover up the bits. As I'm looking, I can see a pin on the floor as we speak. But it's that type of thing, you know, not hanging my scissors back up once I finish with them. Yeah, and just generally keeping the space tidy. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? Not having too much stuff out at any one time. Sometimes when I do my plans video and I share my fabrics, I'll obviously have all my fabrics out, but I can go and put them away again I don't need to keep them out on the shelf. You know, I've made my plans, I know what my plans are, I can put the stuff away. So again, it would be great to have some space that's easily accessible, that can have all that work in progress stuff. So that's one of my plans. So it's keeping my sewing space organised and tidy. So if you have any tips on that, let me know, anything that you do. If you have the same problem, just to commiserate with me and just to make me feel that I'm not on my own would be great. But yeah, that is my first resolution. Tidy sewing space so I have a tidy mind. So my second New Year's resolution links in with that really. It's organising my fabric stash. So I have got a lot of fabric, as you all know, and a lot of you all share with me that you have a lot of fabric. Somebody I was chatting to on Instagram the other day was saying how they've got enough fabric to start a fabric shop, and I'm exactly the same. And that's okay, I'm comfortable with that, but I want to get it organised. I don't know what I've got because I've got so much of it, and it's scattered around the place in wardrobes, in the sewing room, in boxes, and I just don't know what I've got. So I have had the tip from Who's Handmade, Tiffany at Who's Handmade. She did 2 really good vlogs about how she stores her fabric and patterns, and she stores her fabric on comic boards like this and wraps them up. I'm not going to go into loads of detail about it because she's got her own vlog on it, and I'll link those vlogs in the show notes. But I have 2 meters here of viscose chalet, and I just think that's a lovely, neat way to store my fabric. And I've started to do this with any new fabric that comes in. I am taking a photograph of it, I am popping it on this board. I'm not washing it because I prefer to wash when I know I'm going to make it. But yeah, and putting it on this board and then putting it on my on Stash Hub, and yeah, putting all the details on there while it's fresh in my mind. And I will try and show you. Let me show you a drawer I've already done. So as you can see, I've got all of the boards in here, and I actually got more fabric in here than initially was in there. I'm just going to pick this up to show you. You can see that's all really nicely organised. So yeah, so I've already started doing that, and it's a much tidier way to store your fabric, because I find that otherwise I'll get them out, I have to rummage through them, and it's just not a good way of like searching for your fabric. So that's what I want to do. And then eventually I can become really clever and say on my Stash Hub have this fabric is in box whatever, or in location B or whatever, but at the moment I'm not there yet. So yeah, I want to organise my fabric stash, and what that means is putting all my fabric onto boards and documenting it on Stash Hub and keeping it up to date, because one of the reasons why I end up buying more fabric is because I don't know what I've already got, and I'm really keen. I've got some gorgeous fabrics, I'm really keen to have those on there, so if I see a pattern or I see a fabric, I can match them up. Part B of that is to do the same with my patterns. So I have my patterns currently, if you can see, all up there in plastic files. Now, I've got patterns up there that I love and I'll make again. But I've also got patterns that I've made and think, I'm never making that again. It's horrible. Saltwater slip. No, I'm only joking. And I need to just get rid of them. I need to let them go because I've still got the PDF pattern. So, you know, I can always print it off again if I really want to, if I have a change of heart. So yeah, that is the other side of things. I need to get those all documented as well. I don't know sometimes what patterns I've got and what patterns I haven't got. And when I purchase a pattern now, I always go and check if I've got it or not, because, and I'm sure I'm not alone, people have bought patterns twice. I mean, what's that about? Nonsense. So yeah, that's what I want to do. And I did start to do that in a spreadsheet format, but yeah, I'm going to use Stash Hub because Stash Hub is the app that I've got, and it works really well. So for those of you that don't know what Stash Hub is, it is an app that is free to download. for the standard app. It was set up by a vet from Blossom Sandwich, who is absolutely lovely, and her husband, who is an app developer, and she's a keen sewist, and yeah, she's just brilliant. And she set this up because she knows that there's a gap in the market for it, because there wasn't actually a really good app for it. So yeah, Stash Hub is brilliant. So number 4 is one that we all say and never do, but it's cut down on my stash. So I didn't want to put a resolution in, I'm never going to buy any fabric all year and all that malarkey, because we all know that's not true. I want to cut down my stash and start sewing a bit more in my stash. As I said, I've got some lovely fabrics, but I need to get that stash down a little bit. And whether that's through destashing or sewing or gifting or whatever, that is what I'm going to do. A dependency that has is on organising my stash, because without the organisation, it's very difficult for the rest of the resolutions to happen. So yeah, I want to start sewing my stash a lot more. I do obviously get fabric gifted to me, a couple of fabrics gifted to me from Blooming Fabrics currently and UK Fabrics Online, and also my subscription box fabrics. So I do have fabric coming in each month anyway, to kind of feed that habit. But I'm not under any illusion. Fabric buying is another hobby completely, and that's not going to go away because I enjoy doing it. But I want to be a lot more conscious in my buying. And what I mean by that is not just buying because it's a bargain, I like it, or I've seen someone else make something nice in it. Or I'm bored. That's another thing. Sometimes I just go fabric shopping because I'm bored. So I've been a lot more, so far this year, bearing in mind it is the 6th of January, I have not purchased any more fabric. And to be fair, I didn't buy any. I've probably not bought any fabric for a good 3 or 4 weeks, which, believe it or not, is quite a big thing for me. And there's a couple of ways that I've done that. The first way is I have unsubscribed to some emails because they're just dangerous. You know, you get 20% off here, 15% here, off here. And to be fair, they're not that massive discounts, are they, really? In the grand scheme of things. I think if you're spending a lot, they are, but you know, if you're just buying a couple of meters of fabrics, it's not massive savings. Because it shouldn't make you buy fabric that you weren't going to buy. Anyway, if that makes sense. So I've unsubscribed to quite a few of the emails, but I do still peruse all the fabric sites because I love looking at fabric. However, what I have found I've been doing is putting all the fabrics in the basket that I love, and if I still love it, going back to it and buying it if I want to. And what I found is the impulse or the urge for that piece of fabric has gone. It's left me. I've gone through the motions. I've put it in the basket. It's there if I want it. And yeah, I haven't actually clicked buy on any of them. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? And yeah, I'm not saying I'm never going to buy fabric again, but what I am going to do is a lot more conscious buying. So what I mean by that is only buying fabric if I've got a project in mind. So not seeing some fabric, liking it, and then finding a project for it. That doesn't count, which is what I do sometimes. What I mean by this is if I see a pattern that I really want to make, and I don't think there's something suitable in my stash, or I want something different, then I will look for that specific fabric. And that is a much better way for me personally to move forward. I also want to buy more quality than quantity. So in the past, and there's nothing wrong with cheap fabric, I have a lot of cheap fabric and some really good quality cheap fabric. But now my sewing skills are improved, I really want to start to invest in a little bit more expensive fabric because I enjoy that. You know, it's just like anything. That See You at 6 fabric that I had for my birthday, I'm really excited to get that sewn up and I feel confident to do it now, whereas I didn't before. So yeah, there's like Meet You at Milk fabric. I really would like to get some Meet You at Milk fabric, but it's very expensive. Some Merchant and Mills fabric, but it's again very expensive. So at the moment, for a couple of meters I could get of meaty but milk, I could get so much more from somewhere like Rainbow Fabrics or something, but I don't need more fabric. But I do want to buy some of these more pricier fabrics, or better quality, you could argue better quality. So yeah, that's what I want to start doing. And then my number 5, my final resolution, is slower sewing. So one of the things I've talked about quite a lot actually, and it's in a couple of my Friday sews and also in my collaboration on the Carolyn pyjamas. One of the things I really enjoyed about that make was how slow I took that sew. It was over a couple of weeks. I started it well in advance, and I just really took my time. I did French seams and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, I want to do more of that. I want to hone my skills. I want to get better at French seams. I want to put French seams into more of my clothes because I do really like that finish. I want to get tidier at my pattern matching. I want to get tidier at my top stitching. Yeah, just general taking things a lot slower. And yeah, I don't really know what more to say about that other than that's what I want to do. So they're my 5 New Year's resolutions / sewing goals. So I hope you enjoyed me talking you through those. None of them are revelations, as I said. They're all things that I'm sure I've said before, but I really want to aim to work on these. And what I'm going to try and do is in my monthly plans video, I want to put a little section where I talk about how I feel I got on in the previous month in respect of my goals or New Year's resolutions. So look out for that in my sewing plans videos. Please let me know what your sewing goals are. Are any of yours the same? Have you got any tips for any of those? I'd love to hear about them. I love chatting with you in the comments, so please let me know. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Please, if you have, click the like button. If you don't subscribe already, please take a moment to click the subscribe button. I know there's so many more people out there that do watch my channel but don't subscribe. And I know some of you got a bit put off by Vlogmas with people getting bombarded with notifications. So that is over now. So please subscribe. And if you want to support my channel further, please see my Ko-fi link where you can buy me a coffee. So I hope you've enjoyed this, as I said, and I'll see you all soon. Happy New Year and happy sewing. Bye.